Hi, this is Chatterboxing. I'm Sean. I just want to make a quick video about Keith Thurman coming back today or tonight. Finally back. It's been out a couple of years, so it's quite interesting to see how he looks tonight. And he's fighting against Josecito Lopez, who, I think is a pretty decent comeback fight for him. He's not a world beater by any stretch of the imagination, but he's decent enough. He's no bum. He's a pretty solid fighter, and I'd say coming back after a couple of years, an injury, it's a pretty decent test to see where he is. Now, I expect Thurman to win the fight, but I don't expect it to be easy. Now Josecito Lopez has a big opportunity here. This is Thurman, a big name, someone who, before he left, or before he was out with injury, he was considered the #1 welterweight in the world. He was like a unified champion. No one really would have picked Josecito Lopez or given him a chance against Thurman at that point. So this is a great opportunity for him to fight a big name and get a big victory against someone that he's not really on their level. Thurman obviously going to be a little bit rusty. Doesn't know how well he's going to take a punch. He's going to be, slightly worried about the injuries perhaps that he's had. Is he going to be able to fight at a hard pace for 12 rounds, etc., etc.? So this is a good moment for Lopez to really put it on him. I think he will do. I mean, it'd be stupid if he didn't. So that's going to be interesting to see. Thurman, I believe, will start. I think he normally starts quite quickly. He'll try to sort of land some pretty solid punches early on to kind of set the tone and let people know like who they're dealing with, so they don't just kind of rush in and try and take the piss. So I expect him to try and land a couple of hard punches early, but I don't expect him to overexert himself. I do expect him to try to, in spite of that, ease himself into it. So what I think is the most likely outcome of the fight is that Keith Thurman will win by late stoppage, possibly on points. If he does go to points, I think it would be quite wide, because I think the gap in ability will be too much really for Lopez to exploit, unless he really does just catch it cold and catch Thurman when he's just a shell of himself, really, which is possible. But assuming that isn't the case, then I think Thurman's gonna hit him hard early on. First few rounds be a little bit cagey, will sort of move around quite a lot because he is good on his feet, Thurman. And then as it progresses, I expect him to take over and start really putting it on him. I think he'll get a late stoppage. That's what I think will happen. That's what I hope will happen as well. I hope Thurman gets the win. I like Keith. I've always been a fan of Keith Thurman. He does have a bit of redeeming to do. He's got to redeem himself a little bit for just the fact that he's been out for so long. He's kind of let other people get on top, and basically the way he's been talking. Now, I heard an interview recently. He was talking about Crawford, and he was really trying to kind of downplay Crawford's achievements and just sort of going about he hasn't done anything at welter or this kind of stuff. I mean, he's a undisputed champion, one weight below. He's like what, 3-weight world champion, I think. Beaten some decent people like to say he hasn't really. He's beaten obviously he beat all the best people in the light welterweight division. That's a fact. Thurman hasn't beaten all the best people in welterweight. So he's sort of talking as if trying to sort of dismiss Terence Crawford as if he's nobody, and I don't like that sort of. That's not really what I want to hear from him. He was talking about fighting Errol Spence not being on his to-do list before that. Really looked like he didn't want to fight Errol Spence. So I'm not liking the way he's looking at those fights with Crawford and Spence. Those two are like the top dogs of the division right now. So Thurman has to earn his spot back. Now, does he really want to do that? Has he got the hunger? Does he really believe in himself at this stage that he can do that? I hope so. I mean, I've seen a few of his interviews. He's like kind of getting a bit lively, dancing around, putting on a bit of a show. When he's like shadow boxing, making a few jokes, like kind of giving it a bit. So that's a positive sign if he can keep that up. But like Errol Spence said in his on Twitter or something, he doesn't, as he was saying, keep that same energy around me as he does with the journalists, and I'd have to agree with that. to be honest. Keith Thurman is someone who, to be honest, I've always seen a pattern with him where he's very, very keen on fighting certain people, but he doesn't seem that enthusiastic about fighting others. This isn't like a new thing. I mean, Errol Spence was the most obvious one when the sort of the rise of him, and it didn't look like Thurman wanted anything to do with him. But this isn't really a new thing. I mean, before he fought Sean Porter, he was quite reluctant to fight him as well. When he had like the car accident, I'm not saying there wasn't, like, he didn't have a car accident, but there was just a lot of, he kind of went missing. Nobody could hear from him for a while. Kenny Porter was just going around like mouthing off, and there was no real response from him. It didn't look like he was that keen on taking that fight. And all the stuff where he was coming up, really having a go at like Paulie Malignaggi, Amir Khan, Danny Garcia, they're all people who are like smaller, not big punchers. In the case of Malignaggi, like glass jointed Amir Khan, Danny Garcia coming up from a lower weight class. Do you know what I mean? I was noticing a bit of a pattern where he was very, very keen when he thought that the odds were in his favour. I mean, look at the situation with Kell Brook. Kell Brook was another one, but I'm not saying he ducked Kell Brook, because Kell Brook was kind of, just like stuck in England, like wasting too much time with Amir Khan, just being quite poorly managed and promoted, to be honest. So he's not blameless in that situation, but he never really expressed any real interest in fighting Kell Brook. I don't think I've seen one interview with someone asked him that he said that he'd go to. That's just rubbish. Do you know what I mean? People say all kinds of stuff. Amir Khan had no belt. Kell Brook was a IBF champion. Now I know that Amir Khan's obviously a bigger name in America, and there's a lot to do with money. But when you're Keith Thurman talking, the way he talks, like sort of, I'm not afraid to let my own go, and like, you know what I mean, he gives it a lot. He was talking about Amir Khan. I can't wait to sort of welcome him to the welterweight division. You know what I mean? Never said anything about Kell Brook. Then when Danny Garcia came on, he got that belt. Again, he was really like looking to fight Danny Garcia, and he was like coming into the ring. He was just on it. Do you know what I mean? When he thought that he had that upper hand, he was very, very aggressive. He doesn't have, as Errol Spence would say, the same energy. Didn't have it with Kell Brook. Didn't have it with Sean Porter. Definitely doesn't have it with Errol Spence, and doesn't seem to have it with Terence Crawford either. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does. I know he's talking about he wants to fight. He wants to get his WBC belt back. I mean, it's fair enough. I mean, he has been out of the ring for a long time, so I wouldn't begrudge him another fight after this to get himself. I want to get him like fully match fit before he fights people like Spence and Crawford. And to be honest with you, I want to see Spence against Crawford. I don't want to see Errol Spence right now fight against Sean Porter or Keith Thurman. I mean, these are fights that can happen, but the fight I want to see is Crawford. These are the two who are the two best in the division, two best in America, easily. In the case of Crawford, he's definitely proven like one of the best, if not the best in the world. I think Errol Spence has the potential to get up there, but he hasn't really proven it yet. So I want to see Spence against Crawford. Now, Errol Spence fighting Mikey Garcia. I mean, it's a shit fight, but I mean, from his perspective, he's obviously being offered a load of money. Gets the fight on pay-per-view at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. I can't really begrudge him that. You know what I mean? Get that out of the way, and then I want to see him against Terence Crawford. So if that goes according to plan, which it probably won't, because I don't think that Al Heyman wants to let that happen. But if it does, then Keith Thurman can fight against Sean Porter or the Ugas, that I think his name is the mandatory. If he wins that fight, then I won't have any problem with it. Then after that, then you can see Keith Thurman against Crawford or Spence, or both of them, ideally. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, is he really up for doing that? He hasn't really. I mean, he doesn't really look like he's wanting to do. I see, as I say, he did the. I've seen him with his interviews, and he's kind of a bit lively, talking a good game. Looks like he wants to prove a few people wrong. And hopefully he does. But we'll see. So let me know if he does come through tonight, who you'd like to see him fight in the second fight. Because I don't think it's fair to expect him to fight against Crawford or Spence next. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really know who there is out there that I don't particularly want to see a rematch with Danny Garcia or Sean Porter. So I don't know. Let me know who you'd like. Kell Brook. If Kell Brook can come back, talking about him fighting potentially Jesse Vargas. If Kell Brook can come back to welterweight, I mean that's a big if. I don't know if he's going to be able to. He looked pretty poor in the last fight where he came down to like 150, and he kind of didn't really have that much energy. But maybe that was just he'd been out for a while, new trainer. I hope so. This is possibly a bit of a pipe dream, but if Kell Brook can come back down to welterweight, I'd love to see him fight against Keith Thurman. And now would be a pretty decent time to do it. Obviously, Kell Brook's had his problems. He's been out for a while. Keith Thurman's had his problems. So they're both at a similar... I mean, Kell Brook's had more serious injuries, but still, in terms of like time out the ring, this would be quite a good moment to do it. So, yeah, I mean that'd be great if Kell Brook does come back, fights Jesse Vargas, wins, looks good at welterweight, then yeah, let's get that made. But yeah, anyway, I think I've covered everything. Let me know what you lot think. Thank you very much for watching.